Hey everyone, this is a quick video to show you how we can integrate the pickups we did in the last episode into our Trenchbroom setup. Now, if you don't know what Trenchbroom is or you're unfamiliar with what we're talking about, you can go back to some previous episodes. I'm going to put those in the description about how to set up Trenchbroom, which is a really great level editor for retro style 3D games. One of those episodes talked about entities within Trenchbroom, and entities are objects that you can place within your level as you're making it, and when you import that level into the Godot engine, those can turn into scenes or scripts or any objects that you're creating within the engine. I've gone ahead and set up two ModelPoint classes already, one for a pistol weapon. I know that doesn't look like a pistol, but it's a pistol, and then an ammo box for that pistol. Having set this up, that means I can go into Trenchbroom. Let's say I wanted to drop some more ammo boxes in here. I save that and then go back into the Godot engine using the Func Godot add-on. I build that map and then they all pop up. And if you look down further in the scene tree, you can see those scenes. To do this, I created an individual scene for our pistol and for our pistol ammo. These are sitting down here in our scenes folder. The pistol weapon pickup is just an inherited scene of the weapon pickup, and the same for the pistol ammo pickup. That is just an inherited scene of the ammo pickup scene. This is really because if you were in Trenchbroom, you would probably want to just see all of those laid out so you can just grab what you want instead of having to customize it every time you drop something. So let's take a look at the pistol weapon pickup. Once you have that scene created, you make another Func Godot FGD ModelPoint class resource. This resource is going to take a scene, and that's where we put our pistol weapon pickup. You set your target map editor to Trenchbroom, and then also set your class name in the entity definition. And once you have that, you need to go to your FGD resource. Now, this is a resource that contains all of the different entities that we want to import into Trenchbroom. You take the weapon pistol that we created and you drop that in there. You can also make an additional FGD file if you want to organize it a little bit better. Once you have that in your FGD, you're going to hit export FGD. That's going to export everything in here, and you're also going to get a GOB file of the scene. That is going to be in your models folder. And this is what allows your model to show up within Trenchbroom. So let's go ahead and repeat that process for our shotgun. So we need to make a shotgun scene. We can right-click our weapon pickup, do a new inherited scene. That's going to pop up over there. We'll save this. Our weapon slot for that is 2. We want to set a weapon resource, and this is why we're making separate scenes for these weapons. We're just having it so these things are already set, and you can drop these into Trenchbroom. We'll save that and we'll put that into our scenes folder and pickups, weapons, shotgun pickup, whatever naming convention you want to use. Then we need to make the ModelPoint class. So we go to that folder, create new resource. This is going to be an FGD Godot Func ModelPoint class. We'll create that. Same kind of naming convention here, item, weapon, shotgun. I like to name that just so it's the same as our entity definition. So make sure you put that in there. That's how you can tell what everything is within Trenchbroom. Set the target to Trenchbroom, and then we just need to drop our scene. And our scene is right there. That should be good. And now we need to add that class to our FGD file. So we find that. Item, weapon, shotgun, add an element to our entity definitions, drag that over, export. There's our GOB file that should pop up. There it is. And we can go to Trenchbroom now and press F6. Get rid of these ammos. We have item, weapon, pistol, and then item, weapon, shotgun. Now these look the same, so that's not super helpful, but they are different, and you can move that however you want in your level. We'll place that. We'll save it. Back to our level and build map. Now we have our pistol weapon in our scene, and we have the shotgun. And notice that our weapon resource is correct. Set the shotgun, and we can test this out. So we should pick up a shotgun. There we go. And now we can fire the shotgun and switch back and forth. So that's how you can add a weapon pickup based on the setup that we've been doing. Now the ammo is pretty much the same thing. There's one slight difference, and that is we can add a customization option for Trenchbroom. So let me add in my ammo pistol back into our FGD, drag that over. We'll export that back to Trenchbroom, import those definitions, and we've got our item ammo pistol back. So I'm going to drag this in here, and you'll notice up here in the entity tab, we've got some properties. First is the class name, and then we have an origin, and that origin obviously moves around when you move things around. And then we have ammo amount. The ammo amount is something that I created myself. So that's a custom property that we can have imported into Trenchbroom that then is imported into the Godot engine, and our script decides how to use that number. Let's take a quick look at that script. Now within our ammo pickups, we have an export variable ammo amount. Now you could have it so you have separate scenes for different ammo amounts, like a small, medium, large. In our setup, we're allowing that number to just be adjusted per ammo item. The default is 10, but what if we wanted to customize that when we placed it in the level? That is where that ammo amount comes in. If you go to the ModelPoint class resource, down in the bottom area and entity definition, you have class properties. Now, this is something that you would set up yourself, and this would reflect back usually the same as your export variable that you are adjusting. And it really needs to be an export variable. We add a key, which is a string, and then whatever the data type you need for that variable. In this case, it's an integer. It's set to 10 as default. Once you make that change, you need to go back to your script and do a couple of things. The first, you need to make sure it's a tool script. So what happens when you build your map, the Func Godot add-on runs through everything it imported, and it's going to check for this function. So Func Godot apply properties. The entity properties are those class definitions that you just created within the ModelPoint class. It's going to run through all of those that you made, and then using that key, you can grab that value that you did in Trenchbroom and assign it to your export variable in your script in Godot. This is where it becomes really powerful, and this is a very basic thing that you can adjust, but you could do any number of things, however creative you want it to be, in terms of making these entities really customizable. You can change difficulty settings, meshes, a whole number of things. It's a really powerful setup. So let's say I changed this ammo and made it into 20. I save that now. I go back to the Godot engine. I build my map. There's our ammo entity. And then if I check it, we have an ammo amount of 20. I can add the same entity over here, set that to 50 and save it. Go back to Godot, build the map, pops up, and there's our ammo amount of 50. So a really cool trick that you can do. So let's make another ammo for our shotgun. We'll create a new scene. We'll inherit the scene from the ammo pickup. We can call this shotgun ammo. Actually did this backwards, didn't I? Pickup, ammo, shotgun. I guess I was thinking large category to small category. We've created that scene. We can set the weapon slot. That's 2. Ammo amount could be 6. We'll go down and create our new ModelPoint resource, ModelPoint class. Let's call it item ammo shotgun. Set that to Trenchbroom. Take our scene and find our, where did I put it? There we go. Ammo for the shotgun. Class definitions. Remember, we have the ammo amount, so we can set this to a string, call it ammo amount, set this to our integer, and have that be 6. Add it, make sure you add it, and then we add that to our FGD. Add a new element, there's our ammo amount of 12. We can go ahead and test all of these things. One, we don't have a shotgun, so we need to go pick it up. Can't pick up the ammo, that's from the last episode. This is a shotgun, pick up the shotgun, can shoot the shotgun, pick up the ammo. And same for the pistol. So that's how you can integrate some of your objects into Trenchbroom as class entities. Super useful for making your levels, and just a great way to iterate really, really quickly when you're level building. You can do the same process for lighting, for enemies. One thing I might do, make a small video about just like the player spawn, where you want the player to start on a level. As always, you can get the source files for this on my Patreon. If you'd like to see more of these Trenchbroom specific videos, please let me know. I just love the combination of using Trenchbroom And the Godot engine, I really like the idea of just building your game to the point where you're just a level designer and you're making maps. That's just like a really cool feeling. So as always, thank you for watching. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon, and keep creating.